Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome and thank you for tuning in to review my first one. I'm Jim from Jim's Nerd Nation, and this will be a review, if you couldn't tell already, on the manga Attack on Titan Volume 1. I'd like to take a quick minute and just give a little background about myself. I myself used to be a big comic book fan, had originally gotten into comics at an early age, and a lot of it was because of, I'm an artist, I like to draw, and I had a dream for a long period of time of writing and drawing my own comic book. So I attended many different conventions, met a lot of artists, writers, did a number of different pieces all through high school, and then I wound up getting married and now have 3 children, and for a little while got away from the art side of things. So just recently I have been doing a weekly series on my brother Surf Dub Entertainment's channel entitled Overdose, and me and him and 2 other co-hosts, and we usually have a special guest, just kind of sit around and do a 2.5 hour talk show and talk about various things, video game related, movies, comic books, sports, you name it, we talk about it. So one of our special guests a few weeks ago, was Everything One Piece, and EOP has a very successful channel on YouTube and is very well known and respected within the manga and anime community. EOP was a special guest on our show. And to be honest, I didn't know anything about manga. Still don't. I mean, I'm a virgin, so to speak, in that sense. Anyway, I expressed some interest, and EOP wound up bringing myself and the whole Overdose crew, my cohorts, onto a show that he did a live stream about 3 or 4 days ago, towards the beginning of this week. And it was very very well received. It was great. We had tons of people, tons of subscribers that were commenting on things. I asked a number of different questions because I'm truly interested in getting into a new medium, and that's my background. So I am a complete manga and anime virgin. I, in the past, had watched a few different anime, Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, I believe was another one, but certainly by no means have any experience above and beyond that. So, 2 of the books that were recommended to me, one was Attack on Titan, the other one was One Piece, and I'll be getting into that when I start to read and review them. So. But I've gotten a lot of comments from subscribers about some of the artwork that I do, and a lot of people seem to enjoy having me on the live stream. They think that I may be a good reviewer, so here goes. To give you a quick rundown and background about Attack on Titan, they don't really specify if this is supposed to be Earth, our world, another universe, whatever the case may be. But they do kind of start out by telling us that 100 years ago, humanity was almost entirely wiped out by these titans that devour, they eat human beings. We're not told where they come from, if they landed and came on this planet and came from another one, if they came up out of the ground. We're not really sure about that at this point. We know very little about them. All we know is that what was left of mankind retreated from these titans. They're anywhere between 5 and 15 meters tall, and for those of you that aren't great with the math conversion, a meter is approximately 3 feet. So you're talking, these things are 15 to 45, maybe 50 feet tall, absolute giants compared to a normal human being. So what was left of humanity, and I'm assuming maybe a couple 100,000 people, probably less than 1% of the population, wound up retreating to and building a 3-walled city. And I say 3 walls because they're circular walls, one inside of the other, and there's towns built within these circular walls. And each one, obviously is a defensive point. There's cannons on top of it. They're manned, day and night by a garrison that watches for these titans. But the reason that there's been peace for 100 years is because the walls are thought to be impenetrable. And of course, as we know from any type of movie, video game, comic, whenever you hear something's impenetrable, that means that pretty soon it's about to get penetrated. And I know that sounds dirty, and it kind of is, but that's just where we're going with this, I guess. So the walls are 50 meters tall, so about 150, 160 feet tall. Tallest Titan being only about 50 feet tall. Nobody's getting through. So The story starts out, and we wind up meeting our two main characters. And I say main characters because I'm really not sure if they're going to be series mainstays, but I can only tell you what I know from Volume 1 because that's all I've read so far. So, two main characters in the story thus far that you're introduced to are Eren, which is a boy, and Mikasa, which is a female character. I'm not sure if they're related, brother, sister, they're very good friends, whatever the case may be. They're very close. And then we're also introduced to a character that is on the wall garrison that watches out for the wall, named Mr. Hannes. He is a friend of the family, and we find out a little bit about him later on. He kind of has a debt to the family. Eren's father is a scientist, and I guess he developed a cure that wound up curing Mr. Hannes's whole family that had some kind of plague that was afflicting a majority of the population. So he kind of feels that he's indebted to the family. But at any rate, there's 3 different divisions in this military, and pretty much anybody who is able-bodied joins this military. And you can either be in the wall garrison, which are kind of the lazy, drunk slobs that just sit around. It's a time of peace. They don't really do a whole lot because they know that it's been 100 years and nobody's breaking down the walls, right? And then there's the real desirable job, which is that everybody wants but very few can get, and that is the King's Guard. They reside in the innermost wall. They get some of the best food. They get treated the best. They kind of sleep in relative comfort because they know that in addition to it being peacetime for the last 100 years, that if anything does attack these walls, they're on the 3rd innermost sanctum, and they're on the last line of defense. So they're going to be the last ones to go if anything happens. So ultimately that's kind of the desirable job. The job that is pretty much the front line job that has a very, very low survivability rate, that would be the Survey Corps. Now the Survey Corps, they go out into the world, and they're basically trying to find out more about the world. I mean, keep in mind that even a lot of our history books and things like that are gone, so we don't really know a lot about what happened before the Titans. And it's been 100 years. So pretty much anybody who's alive has no real knowledge of the outside world. We're also trying to, the Survey Corps is also trying to go out and to find more out about these Titans, their weaknesses, their habits, maybe, just different things about them so we can use it against them, because eventually the idea is that humanity wants to be able to be armed with the knowledge they need to fight these Titans, to take our world back. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. But keep in mind things like the sea, for instance, to people, and that it has salt in the water. It's remarkable, and most can't believe it. So the first chapter does introduce us a little bit to those 2 main characters, as well as that kind of secondary character, I would call him, that Mr. Hannes. We see briefly Eren's mother and father. And towards the end of the chapter, to our surprise, as I talked about earlier, the impenetrable wall, a colossal titan appears. And this colossus titan, he stands about he's head and shoulders above the wall. That's 150 feet high. So this titan is at least 3 times the size of the largest known titan. This is the Godzilla of titans. And these things are creepy looking too. They've got teeth from ear to ear and just look like these weird sort of humanoid things. I don't know how to describe them, but just real eerie. I'm definitely not going to have good dreams, when thinking about these things. So, and of course they eat humans, so that's a little side note over there too. So this titan appears and attacks the outermost wall, Wall Maria. They're all named. And at any rate, he winds up breaking through the wall, letting other titans in, and we wind up, Eren and Mikasa, they kind of see this happening from a distance. Some of the rubble that comes down from this 150-foot wall, one of the rocks conveniently lands on Eren's house. So Eren comes running around the corner, praying to God that his mother is fine, when in fact she's not. She's pinned underneath the debris, and him and Mikasa spend several minutes while a Titan is advancing on them, trying to get her free. Mr. Hannes appears And the mother basically says, "Listen, leave me." It's a very quick moment in the manga, but it's a very heartfelt moment. Anybody who has kids would know this. It's the parents saying, "Hey, listen, even if you can get me out from under this rubble, I'm only going to slow you down. I cannot walk, certainly can't run, and look up. There's a Titan on its way over to eat people, okay, to eat us." So she basically says to Mr. Hannes, if you feel like you owe our family a debt, which he feels he does, please take these kids and go, take them and get out of here. So he grabs them and pulls them away, and we see in a real grisly, gory scene, we see the Titan devour the mother, just picks her up and eats her. So that's how the chapter winds up ending, and the next chapter picks up. We fast forward 4 years. 4 years in the future, we wind up finding out, just kind of told through flashbacks, that humanity did decide to try to fight back against the Titans after this wall breach, and we pretty much got our asses handed to us. Apparently, for every 30 humans that were killed in battle, we killed 1 Titan. Now, they don't give exact numbers, but they do say that we do not have 30 times the amount of people, humans, alive as there are Titans, so we can't just keep throwing bodies at them and just hope that we outlast them. Okay, they will wipe us out. So we eventually retreated after we, were obviously pissed off about them breaching the wall, and kind of went in there with guns blazing, and did not win. Got our asses kicked, and we had to run back inside our wall, licking our wounds. So the outermost wall had been lost. 4 years passed by. Mikasa and Eren were students in the academy, and that I guess you could say that's similar to a branch of the military here in the States, like a Marine Corps or a National Guard or King's Guard if you're in the UK. But what they wind up doing is they graduate top of their class. I don't know how big the class is, but the top 10 graduates can pick which division they want to be in. And as I told you before, and I explained about the 3 different divisions, the King's Guard is the most highly touted, highly sought after job to have. So later on that evening, all the graduates are at their party, their graduation party. They're drinking, having a good time. Many of them are talking and kind of shooting the shit and saying, "Hey, what are you going to do?" "Oh, well, of course I'm going to be in the King's Guard. You get better rations and you're safe." And I mean, all these great things, right? And Eren kind of gets pissed off when he's asked, and he says, "I'm going to join the Survey Corps." Now, the Survey Corps is pretty much it's the grunts, it's almost guaranteed death. And a lot of people, I mean, he actually winds up getting into a fist fight with someone in the bar, but a lot of people are basically like, you're nuts. Why would you want to do that? Well, he gives this big speech about, don't you want to be part of the group that was known for wiping out the Titans and taking back our planet from these Titans and bringing humanity back, And we wind up the next morning, we find out that several, the speech actually did good things, because several of the other, cadets or graduates decided that they too were going to join Eren and Mikasa on the Survey Corps. And also it should be noted that Mikasa had the highest score, and I guess was said to be that she was already being called one of the best officers ever to come out of training. So everybody thought that she was going to pretty much be in the King's Guard and more or less have like an officer type job. And she, has a heartfelt moment with Eren and says, "Hey, listen, I want to see the outside world first of all, and second of all, I go where you go. So I'm not joining the King's Guard unless you're joining it." So then we wind up getting surprised by yet another attack. The Colossal Titan, which attacked 4 years ago and then disappeared after busting up the wall to allow all the other Titans in, reappears. Eren is there at the wall, sees it on the wall, and attacks it. Now, brief description, and you have to look in the book to really get a good picture of it, but they have these belt-driven jetpacks almost, I guess you'd call them. They have these exhaust fans on them. They're described very well in the book, but they pretty much allow you to run on air. And I'm assuming that these are given to the Survey Corps or maybe just every soldier. But these Titans do not have a weak spot except for at the back of their neck. Supposedly, if they're slashed or hit at the back of the neck, they lose their ability to regenerate. Blow off their head, blow off their arm, blow off their leg, whatever. it regenerates within a couple of minutes. So the only way to kill them is to get in close, and keep in mind these things are huge. Getting close to them and slash at them, at the back of their neck, and then that winds up pretty effectively killing them. So he winds up getting around this thing, and also this belt-driven jetpack. It's pretty cool. It has these harpoon-like devices on it as well that can actually fire into the flesh of the Titan, so he can pretty much reel himself up and into it. And it's actually pretty cool the way it's described and the way you see the art flowing on the panels and them moving around. It almost gives you the impression of a superhero, that's flying through the air. So, nonetheless, Eren winds up attacking this Titan, and thinks he actually has done some damage to it, and it does some damage to the wall. We find out too that from what Eren says, that it has some intelligence, because it initially goes for the cannons, the emplaced cannons on the wall, to take those out first, because obviously that would be what you would do in a strategic maneuver, is try to take out the artillery that can hit you from a distance and hurt you. So we find out too that although we know very little about these Titans, that they are actually not mindless beasts. They are thinking beings, and they like to eat people for some reason. So at any rate, this Titan winds up disappearing into thin air, and but not before the damage is done. It hits about a 20-25 meter high hole in the wall, and Titans start flooding in. We wind up kind of cutting to the next scene, and the cadets basically are thrust into battle. They're told, hey, listen, you graduated, you're on the front lines now, get ready, because the shit's coming, it's about to hit the fan, So everybody's split into different groups, and their job is mainly to try to hold these Titans back that are flooding in through the hole in the wall. They can't get the hole repaired quickly enough, and they're just basically trying to cover the civilians in their evacuation back into the next tier of walls. So it winds up getting pretty gruesome for everybody at that point. People are dropping left and right. It doesn't seem like they're doing a whole hell of a lot of damage to these Titans. A lot of the characters that you've seen in a lot of these cadets even that just came out of training are being eaten, being trampled, killed. We don't know, they never explained to us exactly where Eren's father is either. We just know that after that initial attack 4 years ago, he disappeared, and they kind of allude to the fact that he may be somewhere on the outside, maybe with the Survey Corps. I don't know, he's a doctor, but I'm sure that'll come up in the next volume. So we're left hanging, though, because Eren winds up getting disfigured. He loses a leg. He pretty much thinks that it's all over. Titan grabs him and puts him in its mouth. And we just kind of see it crunch down, and we see an arm get bit off, and it just says to be continued. So I'm hoping, I said at the beginning, these are the two characters that I believe are main characters, but I guess we'll see. I have not yet read Volume 2. I plan on digging into that one tonight. I really wanted to record this and get my first impressions, kind of noob review up, just to kind of get my thoughts out there while they were fresh in my mind, and then also to be able to differentiate between the first and second volumes and not have it all kind of run together if I just keep reading them back to back to back. But I'm really looking forward to getting into it. So as soon as I'm done recording, editing, and putting up this video, I will be watching that. At any rate, I plan to on this channel. A lot of people had requested more things with the drawing that I do. And what I would like to do is leave in the comments down below for the next review. I am going to do a sketch or a drawing of some sort of maybe one of the characters, one of the Titans. If you have a link or a picture of something, by all means inbox it to me, send it to me. I look at all that stuff, and I'm actually gonna sketch something up and present it at the beginning or at the end of the next review that I do for Attack on Titan Volume 2. So I appreciate everybody and all the positive comments that I've seen so far. Bear with me here. I'm new at this. I think I'll only get better. I know I'll get better. But these are just my first impressions and thoughts. Keep in mind too that these are just one person's opinion based on what what I read. And the great thing about written word and even comic books and manga and things like that is that a lot of things are left up to interpretation. This is a great series because it leaves a lot of questions. It dangles a lot of carrots out there. It certainly puts together the groundwork for what can be a really great, really massive story. Coming from an artist point of view, I have definitely seen better on the art side of things, but I definitely believe that it's very good art, and I believe that that the artist is progressing. I'll probably butcher his name here, but it is Hajime Isayama. And Isayama is, from what I've read, I did a little background on him. He's fairly new to the game. This is very, very new as far as a manga. This is very new, but although he's been drawing for several years, this is, I believe, he's still growing as an artist, is what I mean to say. So, thanks again for watching. I hope you liked. Please comment, like, subscribe, whatever the case may be, even a dislike, but just let me know how you feel and what your thoughts are, what you think I can improve on, what you think I hit on well, and I promise the next one will be shorter. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me here, Jim at Jim's Nerd Nation, and see you guys next time.